When the richest and most feared mafia boss in the city watched his only son slowly fade away on a hospital bed, even 100 doctors could not save him. Every top surgeon, every foreign specialist failed. The boy's pulse was slipping away. Then, a young black girl in a janitor's uniform walked into the hospital carrying a small worn-out notebook. The staff laughed. The doctors mocked her. But within hours, she did something no one else could. That night, the mafia boss learned that real power isn't in money, but in miracles that come from the most unexpected hearts. Before we continue this story, go ahead and subscribe to our channel and like this video, so we can bring you even more amazing stories like this one. In the heart of New York's Upper District, the Montezis ruled the streets. Angelo Montesi, a man both feared and respected, owned half the city's underground empire. But behind his intimidating presence hid a broken father. His son, Marco, had been diagnosed with a rare and fatal neurological disorder. Every doctor from Italy to Japan had been flown in. They came with confidence and left with defeat. For 6 long months, Marco's condition worsened. Hospitals turned into fortresses of despair. Money was no longer power, it was useless. Meanwhile, in the same hospital, a quiet cleaning lady named Ruth Johnson scrubbed the marble floors, unseen by those in white coats. Her daughter, Amara Johnson, was a 23-year-old medical student who'd been denied an internship because of her skin color and background. Every day, she visited her mother during lunch breaks, helping her carry cleaning supplies and listening to her talk about the poor sick boy upstairs, whom no one could save. Amara's heart ached, not because she knew the boy, but because she recognized injustice in every corner of that hospital. She had studied that exact disease in her private research. She had even developed a theory, one that could possibly reverse it. But no one took her seriously. After all, who would listen to a black girl without a degree, especially one whose mother cleaned the very floors the doctors walked on? The day Marco's condition turned critical, chaos erupted. Machines beeped in panic. Doctors shouted commands. Nurses ran through corridors. Angelo Montezzi stood frozen, his powerful hands trembling for the first time. His empire meant nothing when death stood before his son. That same morning, Amara arrived with her mother to clean the ICU wing. As they passed the crowded room, Ruth whispered, "That's the boy, baby, the mafia boss's son." Amara peeked through the glass and saw the lifeless figure on the bed, pale, fragile, surrounded by men in suits and doctors with hopeless faces. Something inside her shifted. She couldn't just walk away. She pulled out her old leather notebook, filled with scribbles, diagrams, and pages of sleepless research. "Mom," she said softly, "I know what's happening to him." Her mother's face froze. "Don't even think about it, Amara. They won't listen. They'll throw us out!" But Amara couldn't stop. She waited until the doctors left to prepare for another failed procedure. Then she entered the room, her voice steady but respectful. "Sir," she said to Angelo, "please, I think I can help your son." The bodyguards blocked her immediately. The head doctor laughed. "You? You clean floors here, don't you?" Whispers filled the hall. Angelo glared. "If you're wrong, girl, you'll never walk out of this building." But she didn't flinch. She calmly explained her theory, how Marco's body was rejecting traditional medication due to a rare genetic reaction, and how a simple molecular infusion could restart the neural pathways. The doctors scoffed. Angelo, desperate, finally said, "Do it." They watched her mix compounds with trembling hands. The nurses hesitated, but her conviction was unshakable. Within minutes of her injection, Marco's pulse began to steady. His eyelids fluttered. His fingers moved. Then, slowly, his heart monitor showed rhythm again. The room fell silent. Every doctor froze in disbelief. The mafia boss, the man who had once ordered executions without emotion, fell to his knees, tears flooding his eyes. For the first time in his life, he whispered, "Thank you." News of Marco's sudden recovery spread through the hospital like wildfire. The same doctors who mocked Amara now followed her as if she were a miracle worker. Angelo demanded to see her research, and when she showed him her notebook, filled with years of work done in secret, he realized how much brilliance the world had ignored simply because of the color of her skin. But not everyone was pleased. The head physician, Dr. Keller, felt humiliated. He accused Amara of endangering the patient, claiming her methods were unverified and reckless. He tried to have her arrested, but Angelo Montesi intervened. "No," he thundered. "The only reckless thing here is arrogance, the kind that almost killed my son. In front of the entire medical board, Angelo publicly declared Amara his son's savior. He offered her a full scholarship, private funding for her research, and protection under his name. Amara's mother wept silently in the back of the room, her hands still stained with cleaning fluid. The Mafia boss, once untouchable, now bowed his head to a janitor's daughter. As the press flooded in, Amara refused interviews. "I didn't do it for fame," she said quietly. "I did it because I was tired of being invisible." And that line echoed through every newsroom that day. Weeks later, Marco walked again. The Mafia empire that once thrived on fear began funding hospitals and free clinics in black neighborhoods, all under Amara's guidance. Ruth no longer scrubbed floors. She managed the hospital's community outreach program. The same corridors that once echoed with mockery now carried whispers of admiration. The doctors who once ignored her now sought her mentorship. One afternoon, as Amara stood outside the hospital garden, Angelo joined her. "You healed more than my son," he said softly. "You healed my soul." She smiled, looking toward the skyline. "Maybe it's time people start seeing genius in every color." The video fades out on Amara closing her old leather notebook, the symbol of perseverance, as text appears on screen. Never underestimate someone because of where they come from. Greatness doesn't wear a title, it wears courage.